I'm going to be very vague, yet very direct. My siblings and I are suing my grandfather because a lot of things weren't done right. I don't think it's cool to have a pobrecita mindset or attitude. Before we start pointing fingers, we need to look within ourselves and say, wait a second, what have I done to cause this situation? It's not just mistakes and all that stuff, but always just feeling sorry for yourself. No one wants to be around that. And you're going to find yourself lonely if you don't fix that. What up, guys? Happy Monday. I hope you all are having an amazing day. I'm happy to be on the mic with you guys for today's episode of Chiquis and Chill. And I hope you guys had a chance to check out last week's episode on the pie of life. It's something I learned about in therapy, and it's really helped me balance my life. So be sure to check it out. Anyway, on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about something I posted on TikTok. In the video, I talked about how I can't stand people who have a pobrecita mindset, a pobrecita attitude. A lot of you guys watched it and responded to it, so I wanted to unpack that a little bit on here. So let's get into it. This is Chiquis and Chill. Okay, so let's start with a little bit of the backstory. You know what I can't stand? A pobrecita attitude. A pobrecita approach to life. A pobrecita mindset. You know, someone that victimizes themselves. Especially when they're the ones that caused the situation that they're in. The reason why I posted the video in the first place was because my siblings and I are going through a little something that we have not yet publicly talked about, and we have chosen for it to be that way. I'm going to be very vague, yet very direct. My siblings and I are suing my grandfather because a lot of things weren't done right since I can remember. Again, I can't get into detail because I'm going to let the lawyers take care of that. But there has been a lot of lies and deception and just people, and I'm not going to say names, but people really not taking accountability and not taking responsibility for their actions, not knowing how to apologize, how to accept that they didn't do a perfect job, and that's okay. We don't want perfection. We want honesty, right? So I was thinking, and it had been sitting in my heart and in my mind for a while. And then I thought, you know what? It's something that has been bugging me in general. It's something that bugs me in general. And when this all happened, and then I saw certain things being said, it took a lot, and it still takes a lot for me to just stay quiet and stay centered and focus on God and know that He has our back and He knows the truth and everything is going to be okay. Because as a big sister, the first thing I want to do is go out there and defend my siblings and defend our truth. But I'm just trying to be chill now. So that's the reason I posted it. And I was thinking of someone specifically, which I'm not going to say their name. And I always say, if the shoe fits, wear it. Si te queda el tacón, póntelo. El saco, lo que sea, póntelo. But it also does go with what I truly believe. I don't think it's cool to have a pobrecita mindset or attitude. What does that mean exactly? That means, oh, poor me. Oh, I didn't do this. And the reason I did this was because this person did that. It's like, wait. Stop pointing fingers, first of all. Because when you point a finger, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. So I'm not saying that the other person doesn't and shouldn't take accountability. But before we start pointing fingers, we need to look within ourselves and say, wait a second, what have I done to cause this situation? What can I do differently to have a better and a different outcome? Where can I apologize? You know, there is a lot of power in manning up, even if you're a woman, like womaning up, you know, agarrándote los ovarios the way I said in my TikTok, and apologizing and saying, you know what, I effed up. I'm not perfect. You know, I could have done things differently. You know what I mean? It could be in different situations, but stop trying to make people feel sorry for you. Painting a picture of like, it's the other person's fault. No, wait. There's always 2 sides, 3 sides to the story. Okay. Your side, their side, and the truth. So it's taking accountability more than anything and not wanting, first of all, not victimizing yourself. Yes, you can be a victim of a situation, but once you start victimizing yourself, that's very different. It's, oh my God, poor me, this happened to me. And it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stagnant. It doesn't allow you to grow. It doesn't allow you to live a more peaceful life. There is so much freaking power, you guys, in being vulnerable and in saying, dude, I messed up and I'm sorry for that. And I want to be different. And that does not define who I am today. So that's why I posted it. I just felt that it could fit many people. And that's why I kept it general, because yes, it is like something I truly can't stand. And yes, we are and were going through something during that time. And I felt the need to say something without saying it directly to the person, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say how it is. I'm straight up. And it's not because I'm scared. If I haven't spoken up, it's because I'm respecting my sister in her position. And I don't want to make her position harder. My sister, Jackie, who is now the CEO of Jenny Rivera Enterprises. And we all decided to just stay quiet. And I do see and I do hear a lot of things that piss me off. And I'm going to just maybe eventually, I don't know when, I don't know if it's even going to happen, but take the reins as the eldest sister and speak the truth. But for now, I'm chilling. I'm leaving it in God's hands. And I truly, truly do believe that you should not, and it's not cute to have a pobrecita mentality, guys. Absolutely not. You know, I was sitting and thinking to myself, where does this come from? Is it a maturity thing? Is it lack of confidence? I don't know. I mean, I personally feel, because I'm not going to lie, back in the days when I was younger, it was a little harder for me to take accountability. And I think it was because I didn't know who I was. I thought that I had to be quote unquote perfect. You know what I mean? In order for people to like me. Then it got to a point where it's like, I'm human. I make mistakes. I can say sorry. I can change. No situation is going to define who I am today and who I'm going to be tomorrow and in my future. So once I understood that and I was like, okay, I accept myself for who I am, flaws and all. Now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm cool with not being perfect. I'm okay with making mistakes. And I admit to them because regardless, todo sale a la luz. Everything comes to light. So I do think it is a part of not knowing who you are, not being confident who you are, and maturity. But unfortunately, in my situation, my personal situation, which is what caused me to record this video in the first place, the person I'm kind of thinking about is older than I am. Actually, it's not just one person. It's a few people. They're older than I am. And I'm like, what the heck? They have, in my personal opinion, something that they need to heal in their heart and in their mind, or something that's causing them not to see the truth of things. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman, doesn't matter your age, to say, you know what? I didn't do this right. And for that, I'm sorry. I admire people that can just face it. You take the power from the other person once you're just like, I apologize. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like you take literally the power and you're like, oh shoot. The other person stays like, oh wow, they admitted to it. Or, you know, yeah, I'm gonna forgive them because they've been honest, because they're apologizing, because they're admitting. You know what I mean? So I do think it's a conjunction of things. I could be wrong. Again, this is just my opinion and my advice and my podcast. So I can talk about whatever I want. Thank goodness. But it is something that is not cute, especially in men. It's not cute to be like, oh, you know, everyone feels sorry for me. You know, I didn't do anything wrong and these people are accusing me and these people are saying things that no. Have your balls in your hand and your ovarios in your hand and face the truth, face the music. You know what I mean? It's okay. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes and it's going to be that way for the rest of our lives. That's just the way life works. You learn from every mistake. De cada caída, each time you fall, you learn, you grow, you mature. You're supposed to anyways. And if you haven't and you still have that poor me attitude, pobrecita mentality, attitude, whatever you want to call it, you really got to do some like inner work, you know, because it's not it, you guys, and it will keep you stuck. It will not allow you to grow. And what Chiquis and Chill is all about is growing and expanding and evolving in every way. Perfection does not exist, and it's okay, because I feel like being perfect would be kind of boring. It wouldn't like bring any flavor or sazon to like life. So we need certain situations and certain things to spice things up a little bit. But what are you going to learn from that? You know what I mean? And I want to publicly thank my mother for the way that I am, because she was tough. She was a tough and a very strict mom. She was very direct with us, and her lessons were hard, very hard, but they stuck. And that's one thing that when I went through the whole thing with my dad sexually molesting me and that whole situation, my mom believed me right away and said, you know what? Okay, I believe you. I don't question it. She took me to the doctor. She did everything she had to do as a mother to be there for me, put me into therapy, the whole thing. But I swear to you, in my little mind at 12 years old, I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to be able to get away with a lot of things because this happened to me. My mom was like, hell no. That happened to you, but I'm not going to feel sorry for you. And you should not feel sorry for yourself. And I think it started then when I was like, oh, shoot, I thought I was going to have like special treatment. You know what I mean? Because I was going through so much. But she was like, you're going to school. You're going to bring me good grades. And if you don't, I'm going to whoop your ass, you know? So mind you, times were different, you guys. Spanking was still okay back in the days. So anyways, my mom was very like, no, I'm not going to allow you to feel sorry for yourself and victimize yourself. Yes, you are a victim of sexual abuse, but you are not going to victimize yourself. You are going to take this and learn from it and help other people. And that's what was instilled in my mind. And I, till this day, think like that. I'm like, okay, I got a separation. I was divorced. Anything and everything that I've been through. I'm like, what lesson? Literally, I asked myself and I'm like, what is God trying to teach me from this? What lesson am I to learn from this pain? How am I going to turn this pain into growth, maturity, into making myself a better version of myself, to keep myself from feeling this pain again? So I've always had that mentality, and I thank my mom for it, and I think for sure that's where it comes from when it comes to me. I don't like to sit there and mope and just say, oh my God, and not do anything. I'm like, no, what can I change? How can I make this situation better? How can I learn from this? There is always something to learn from every situation, even if it's painful. I always say pain is a path to promotion. Pain is supposed to make us grow in every single way. And growing isn't necessarily comfortable. It's actually uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable, but it's necessary in order to make us a better version of ourselves. Going back to the TikTok, there was a comment on my post of a girl saying, you know what? She admitted, here, this is a prime example of someone taking accountability and saying, you know what? I do this a lot to myself. How can I stop doing it? What advice do you have for me? So I hope she listens to my podcast. My advice to this specific girl, who honestly I commend. Round of applause to you for doing it publicly, because you left a comment publicly that you do this. And it's okay. I've been there. I get it. I understand. It's, first of all, recognizing it, which that's a first step, and you're doing that. Recognizing it, admitting to it, taking accountability. Okay. And I think it's important to know who you are and what you bring to the world, what you bring to the table, being okay with that, accepting your flaws, and doing anything and everything that you can to change those things. How can you do that? Okay. Going to therapy, healing things, especially healing. Healing is so important for the process of growing and becoming our best selves. That is one of the most important things to do, so that you don't throw yourself a little pity party and it's like, oh my God, a pity party of one. No, that's not cute, you guys. That's not an attractive thing of feeling sorry for yourself. It's just admitting, apologizing if you need to apologize, and healing, taking accountability, taking responsibility for whatever mistake you make, and being okay with knowing that you're human and you're going to make mistakes. You're not perfect, and you have to allow yourself through that mistake to grow and to learn, because that's what life is all about, is going through certain situations and scenarios in order for you to grow, to learn, to mature. And that's going to make you your best self. That's my advice to you. And I hope you listen to this podcast, because I've been meaning to respond to that comment, but I thought that this would be the best way to go about it, because I wanted people to really, truly understand where that whole TikTok Pobrecita mentality attitude came from, because it's just, I don't know. I really admire someone that can come and just in your face say, dude, I really screwed up. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't do things right. My bad. Because when you say it out loud, you're not only asking the person for forgiveness, but you're also forgiving yourself and giving yourself that grace and that compassion that you won't fall. When you say it out loud and you yourself bring it to light, it's very hard for you to go back to do the same thing. And that's what it's about. It's like, hey, let me bring this out to the world and out loud. And not to the world, but to the person, like not keeping it within yourself, but actually telling, not like going on a podcast or like on TikTok and saying it the way I did. But I'm saying like, like going to the person or saying, hey, admitting out loud, hey, I messed up. That just like allows you or helps you not to make the same mistake. You get me? And just to be honest, when I say that's not cute, I really mean it. That whole like pity party and oh my God, and I don't have this. And it's like always complaining and being negative is just, no one wants to be around that. It could be somewhat contagious and you could be like in a great mood. And then you all of a sudden are around this person who's just like, oh, my goodness. And this always happens to me and this and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, dude, that's another thing. It's not just mistakes and all that stuff because I was like my personal situation, but like, yeah, like always just feeling sorry for yourself and always just pointing out how everything is going wrong and complaining in your life. Like that's also a pobrecita mentality. Like no one wants to be around that. And you're going to find yourself lonely if you don't fix that. Like it's about being positive. And I know that sounds like so cliche, like, oh, optimistic and all this stuff, but it's way better than complaining and being negative for sure. I'd rather be optimistic all day long than pessimistic for sure. So that's another thing to take into consideration. I don't want to live my life by myself. I want to have solid, good friends. And that's also in your hands and being more of a positive person, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And if you find yourself doing this, take the advice I just gave homegirl from TikTok where she left her comment. Or if you have friends or family members that do this all the time and it's affecting you, because it will. First, it'll annoy you and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. Why are they always saying that? And then it's just going to start really affecting you mentally, emotionally. So I think you just got to don't say it in front of people. I always say pull someone to the side, write them a letter. I love writing letters. So write them a letter or tell them personally, privately, hey, this is not okay. You're now starting to affect me and you really need to heal yourself. You really need to do something to heal whatever's going on and is making you feel this way, whatever it is. Tell them what I'm telling you. That's not cute. You know what I mean? You're going to push me away if you continue doing this, if you continue feeling sorry for yourself and being negative and pointing out everything that's going wrong in your life. And that's one thing I always say, you guys. Yes, we can have a bad day. And believe me, I have them where I'm irritated or I'm annoyed or I'm overwhelmed. And I do my best to say, hey, at least I have a roof over my head. At least I have running water. Point out the good things. No one wants to be around someone that's constantly pointing out the bad things. It's okay for you to say, hey, I'm feeling this, but don't let that moment turn into 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month. No, we got to stop it. It's in our hands. It's a choice to say, I choose to be happy. I choose to heal. I choose to be better. I choose to forgive myself. I choose to forgive that person. It's all about what you choose on a daily basis. That's going to make the biggest difference. So just to wrap everything up, because I know I went here, there, and everywhere, but take accountability, take responsibility for your actions, for your mistakes. Know that no one is perfect. Allow yourself to be human. You are human, but also allow yourself to be a spiritual person and mature enough to apologize if need be. And also, instead of looking at all the negative things and looking at all the things that you don't have, start focusing on what you do have, on the good things in your life. And that will definitely help you set the tone for your day, for your life, and for you not to have a pobrecita mentality, because that's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to keep you stuck. And no one is trying to be stuck. That's not the goal here. The goal is to keep going, to keep moving, to move forward, to be better, to grow, So anyways, guys, I hope that this episode has helped you and will help you, or you can help someone else. If you know someone that is kind of like this, it's okay. I've been there before. I know, I recognize it. So it's okay if you have a friend, a family member that is doing this right now. Send them this episode so that they can listen to it, and hopefully that can spark something in them to make a difference, to change, so that they're also happier. Because at the end of the day, you're so much happier when you take accountability. Accountability, it'll take you far, guys. So with that being said, I always leave you guys with a quote. I actually have two, guys, okay? So the quotes are, you can't mope around feeling sorry for yourself and expect good things to happen. It doesn't work like that. The next one is, don't feel sorry for yourself. Only assholes do that. All right, guys. So I hope you guys found this episode empowering. Just know that I appreciate you, that I love you, and that all I want is for you to become your best self. That is all, okay? And before I let you go, be sure to tune in for next week's episode of Chiquis and Chill because it's a good one. We sit down with one of my good friends, DJ Lechero. Don't miss that one, okay? I love you guys. Do you need advice on love, relationships, health, y más? I'm so excited to share with you that my Chiquis and Chill podcast will have an extra episode drop each week. I'll be answering all your questions. Just leave me a voice message con todas tus preguntas y yo te las voy a contestar personalmente. All you have to do is go to speakpipe.com/Chiquis and Chill podcast and record your questions. I can't wait to hear from you. This is a production of iHeartRadio and the My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcast and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and check us out on YouTube.